Hello again. We are here with Dr. YKK. Now he's one of the world's leading authorities on creative innovation. Now Dr. YKK, at last the light's gone on and I understand the power of copycat innovation. It really is revolutionary, and I've got no doubt it is set to change the world, to change the way that people do business. So to take us one step further, can you give me an overview of this phenomenal system of yours which you've developed?
Sure, I'll be glad to, Kieran. Now, this 7-step system begins with the first step, which is identifying the core issue. I personally never believe in blue sky thinking. Let's have brainstorming and come up with ideas without knowing what is all the issue about. For example, if sales suddenly drops and you have a session, a brainstorming session, and say, oh, let's improve sales, without studying why the sales drop. Is it new technology? Is a competitor setting off shop? Or for whatever reason. And you come with innovation, it does not solve that problem, address that problem. It's wasting time and it doesn't work. So in this case, I will ask whether if possible, backed by statistics, backed by facts, that the sales have gone down and which part of the market has gone down and all that. That's why it's very important to have collect information so that you're solving the right problem and not the wrong problem. So identifying the core issue is the first aspect of it. And I'm using proven tools, both online and offline, which can help you to go to the first step.
Okay.
Now the second step is, once you identify the core issue, for example, in the sale of sales, you identify that technology is the issue, is the main issue, and that's why your sales decline. Now, once you have that, then you need to have a vision, and that's the second step. All right? What is I term as the Michelangelo technique.
Okay.
Do you know? Have you heard of Michelangelo technique?
No, I haven't. I certainly know who Michelangelo is.
Yeah.
Explain the technique, what is it?
Well, Michelangelo is one of the greatest artists and sculptors who ever lived during the Renaissance period. And he painted the Sistine Chapel, and the most famous statue is almost to perfection, is the statue of David. A marble statue with all the detail is really fantastic.
I've seen it, so it's brilliant.
Yeah. So when people look at the statue, they ask Michelangelo, they say, Michelangelo, how do you manage to sculpt such a brilliant, lifelike statue? Michelangelo says that it's because I visualize the statue, David, inside, trapped in a marble. All that I need to do is to chip away the amount of pieces. Hence, I call it a Michelangelo technique, because you do not have the vision. Any technique is okay, you have to know where you're going. So things like mission statement, your vision, and what is the, for example, what's your target? Do you want to have maybe 5% of the market share or whatever? You must come up with something so that when you achieve it, you know it. Without something like that, you do not know whether you achieve your target. So the Michelangelo technique is very important. Now the third step is what I call tapping into the global brain.
Yeah, you actually touched on that before in one of the previous questions.
Yes, now the internet is a storehouse for the best and the most brilliant ideas in the world. So by using the right technique, you can tap into ideas that are relevant to you, that you can improve on, that you can use as a starting point for a winning formula. So that is step 3. Right? Step 4. What do you do when you have found the best solutions? It could be just not one, but there could be, you have to narrow down to a few possibilities. What do you do with them? Now once you selected one, then the next step is what I term innovating the wheel. Alright? I told you earlier that it's no point reinventing the wheel. Look at what they have done with the wheel. By innovating the wheel, you have gear wheels, you have also water wheel, you have the Ferris wheel, You have all sorts of wheels in place, and that is innovating on the basic wheel. As invented is something wrong, it goes wrong. In fact, wheels today are need not even be round. As long as it turns, it's a wheel. And you can see in the watch, for example, you can see all sorts of gears and wheels in the watch itself, those mechanical watches. So that is innovating the wheel. It's not reinventing the wheel, but innovating the wheel.
Good point, yes.
Right? So step number 5. Well, now that you've come up with a brilliant solution that innovates the wheel, what's the next step? Well, the next step is selling your innovation to the people in authority, to decision makers, because the best ideas in the world is useless if you do not have the means to implement it. That's where you have to sell your ideas to the management, to decision makers, so that they can allocate resources, they make it a project, they allocate a team, and all those you need to make it a successful project. So the 5th step is selling your innovation. Now this is very important, right? In fact, some of the techniques used must be NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, to understand the profile of the decision makers. So this is the 5th step. Now the 6th step is about implementing the innovation. Do you have a system for implementing? Do you identify the resources required, the time frame, the budget requirements, and then you implement that system? What I like, very simple, for me I choose the simplest tool, is the PDCA system. You heard of the PDCA?
No, I haven't. No. Please explain it to us.
PDCA cycle is used in the quality management system. It's about planning. You do it, you implement it in a smaller scale, then you check, that means you review whether it works and what are the problems that needs to be fixed. So they come up with a better model, and then you act on it. So it's the PDCA: plan, do, check, and act. And this is a marvelous system, simple, but very powerful. Now that brings me to the last step, or the 7th step. The 7th step is about recognition and celebration. How to inspire people to continue innovating. Well, according to the sales experts, the best time to make a sale is after you make a sale. Because at that juncture you're feeling high, you're highly motivated, so you have to keep the motivation level high. And that means recognizing small successes along the way, not just celebrate. You celebrate the big success, you complete annual function, but you also recognize and celebrate small successes. And if you have the implementation milestone in small steps, every step of the way have some simple celebration. For example, take 2 hours off to see a movie. Simple thing, it may cost a lot of money, go for a cup of coffee. That anchors the enjoyment, the satisfaction, and the sweet taste of victory.
But there's so many companies that I've found, certainly in my business at the moment, when I speak to them, who are afraid to do that. That's that last step that a lot of them think, because they don't know how far to go. But when we discussed earlier, when you explain to them that only things like movie tickets or an afternoon off or a meal, they then get to understand that they don't have to spend a lot of money to make people feel important. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, sure. So this is, in essence, the 7 steps. In subsequent interviews, I will elaborate in each of the steps.
It's fantastic. Now I'm starting to get a handle on it, and it's a really passionate subject. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah.
So we'll move on.
Yeah, thank you.